Hey guys, it's Erica here with the Childcare Directors Chair podcast. If your center is still relying on word of mouth to stay full, that's a risk that you can't afford anymore. Today's parents don't just ask friends, they scroll and they trust what they see online. And marketing with our friend Mark from the Cool Click is here to explain why visibility, social proof, and presence are the real drivers of enrollment nowadays, no matter whether we like it or not. So here's what I'm going to say, and you can quote me on this. Great centers don't always get found, but the ones that do marketing do. So Mark, welcome to the show, my friend.
Yes, thank you for having me, Erica.
So tell folks a little bit about you. Who's Cool Click? Because that is a cool name. Tell us a little bit about who you are, who Cool Click is.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Mark Davalos. I help childcare centers show up consistently online so parents feel confident and informed when choosing your center for care. So the reason I always called it the Cool Click, number one, is that in high school, I always wanted to be part of the Cool Click, and now all of you guys can be part of the Cool Click. So for that reason, the one thing that I appreciate you, Erica, for having me, because it's so important to talk about. I think one of the key words that you said was visibility. That if you have a phone now, it's all about being visible. It's all about what you can see. It's all about what's going on online. So I guess the big piece of what I do is I do marketing, but I do marketing online and helping your childcare center stay visible online.
All right. So let's cut straight to it. Why is word of mouth no longer the main driver of enrollment?
Yeah. So the one thing that I've been explaining to people now is you have to go where the eyeballs are. So this is the key, and I think this is going to be the key of the messaging that I start giving in 2026, is that now you need to put yourself in the shoes of the parent, right? And I know a lot of childcare owners want to put themselves in their shoes and how they think a parent should be attracted to their center. I want you from now on to put yourself in the shoes of a parent. So where are the parents looking for childcare? How are the parents building trust for your childcare? Because now there's so much happening online. There's so many ads. There's so many people promoting, and there's so much going on online. So how do you stand out? The way that you're going to stand out is that you're going to have to build trust. And the way that you build trust is showing up online consistently. So you have to show up online. You got to show what you're doing at your centers. You have to show your teachers. You have to be present online. Your childcare center must be present online, and not only just present one time, but present consistently.
Yeah. I mean, I think that could be for really any kind of business, because when I think, I travel a lot, and the first thing I do before I book a hotel is I'm going online to check out how many stars and what the reviews say. I do the same thing with restaurants, and particularly if it's a place I've never been before. So before a parent ever calls the center, what are they actually doing online?
So the one thing that parents are doing is they are searching. They are utilizing, number one, their mobile phones. So it's very important that your platforms are mobile friendly. So I would say I looked it up today, probably almost around 60 something percent, maybe even more, are utilizing their phones to search for your childcare center. So your platforms need to be mobile friendly. Your website needs to be mobile friendly. And what they're doing is they're looking for clarity. That is what's very important. And so when you go to your website and you go, is it clear what you provide? Is the age groups clear? Is it easy for a parent to know what to do next? So if I go onto your platform, do I immediately know, number one, where you're located? Do I know your phone number? Do I know what programs do you provide? Infant care? Do you provide aftercare? Do you service toddlers? So you have to ask yourself, is that information clear to the parent that's searching for your childcare center?
Okay. Why do reviews and testimonials and social proof matter more than the center says about itself, right? Because we can say lots of great things. Like, I think my son is the best. And I'm
Yeah.
sure if you're listening, you think your son is the best too. So
Yeah.
why do the reviews and testimonials and all that stuff, like, why does that matter even more?
So one of the shirts that I normally wear it's called Protect Your Brand, right? And yeah is spelled exactly the way I said it. And it is extremely important what others think about you, especially online, because it's sticky. And it only gives a parent that initial, just like you mentioned, you go to a restaurant and you have a some type of review, positive or negative, that's what's out there. So it doesn't matter what the restaurant thinks about themselves. It doesn't matter what the childcare center thinks about themselves. It's what do people think about you? And what are people willing to write about you? And I do know that unfortunately there's some negative reviews out there that does not represent your center. So that's why it's even more important for you to be online so that you can actually create your own narrative and proper responses to what people have said, right? So I've seen that people respond maybe even without a true interaction with your center. So they'll comment without a true interaction.
Mhm.
And as a childcare owner, you have to decide, how am I going to respond to that review? Because that's the way that people are gonna see you. Are you gonna be combative? Because even though it's something that may be completely false,
Mhm.
people are trying to watch to see how would you respond, and they're gonna build trust off of that. So they're gonna so based off of what people are reviewing, let's just say it's a good positive one. Did you reply? Did you take the time to reply and say, "Oh, thank you"? Are you interacting with your community? Those are those are extremely important that people are gonna look at your reviews. So number 1, if you have negative reviews, and we'll unpack a lot of that during the center, during the conference, but what's if you have negative reviews, you need to deal with that. You need to reply to the ones negative or positive, reply, because that's gonna help with it's gonna help with your ranking. But at the same time, if it's negative, you wanna take the time to reply to that because it's gonna be so important because that's your reputation online. If it's positive, you reply because it shows a relationship with your parents. So people are other people, can you imagine? It's like a theater out there. People are watching what you're replying, what you're saying, especially unfortunately if it's negative. They're really going to take the time to read it. And you want to take the time to create that brand online and protect it by what you reply.
I think that's such great advice because I'm Italian and I am a childcare owner, and we take our businesses very personally. It is a very personal business, right? Not making a hamburger. I'm taking care of someone's child. So it is very easy to get caught up, right? And want to respond quickly. I wouldn't say aggressively, but we get very defensive, right? So it's really important that we're not doing that. And again, as you said, like really, how do I want to represent my school? And you are right. Oftentimes too, I will say I'm guilty of it. When I look at reviews, I always look for the negative ones.
Mhm.
I think there'd be 100 positive reviews. You look for the one negative one, and that's the one you read. It's almost like the car crash, like you said. Like
Yeah.
it's like people are waiting for it to unfold, right? You can't help but drive by that car crash and kind of look, right? All these great reviews, but what is this one bad experience? And it has a lot of weight. So
Yeah.
I think it is very important, like you said, to respond to it. Yeah.
And like you mentioned, if a lot of eyes are going to go to that negative review,
Hmm.
so as an owner, you want to have the opportunity as they're looking at the negative review, they'll see your response as well, right? So
Yeah.
I might read a negative review and then I see the owner's response. I'm like, oh, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of give them a chance or a break
Sure.
where I probably wouldn't go to that location because of the just the negative review alone, but
Hmm.
waiting for the response, like you mentioned, non-defensive, a
Hmm.
non-defensive response. Because if you're defensive, then I'm gonna say, "What do you have to hide? Why are you so defensive? Why are
Yeah.
you so
Yeah.
combative?" And then I start making other decisions based off of that.
Yeah. Too, I've seen some folks respond like, Mrs. Smith, we've never had anybody buy with your name enrolled at our center, but
Yeah,
thank you for your feedback.
correct.
I've seen those too, or you should have called the office. We would have loved to help you. This
Yeah,
is the first time we're hearing of the issue here on the internet, but
absolutely. I think
yeah,
that's you can see that's a perfect way to respond to that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know who you are.
yeah,
You're pretty much trying to sabotage my business, right?
yeah,
So let's take this. And if you are someone that I know, let's take this offline. Give me a call
yeah,
and we'll continue the conversation out of the eyeballs of everyone looking at the car crash that you
sure,
mentioned.
yeah. What do you think's the biggest marketing mistake that you see early childhood centers making right now?
The big thing that I realize is that people don't want to remain, I want to word this properly. It's important that you remain consistent. The
Yeah.
biggest mistake that I see is that obviously the services that I provide is that on behalf of a childcare owner, I help them remain consistent.
Hmm.
But if you choose to do it yourself, then you have to do it yourself.
Mhm.
And what I notice is that there's big splurts of there's something going on, and then all of a sudden there's 20 posts about your last field trip that you went to,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden I don't see anything else, right?
Mhm.
So you go to your you go to your social media, and there's your last year's field trip from the summer of 2024 or something like that, and then there's nothing. And then you come back and then there's like one picture of something else. So you can't treat your social media that way. The biggest mistake is that there's a community, believe it or not, there's a community that's watching what you're doing. And the less, number one, the less consistent that you are with your childcare center, the less visible you are. And
Yeah.
every time you're going to hear that term, the algorithm, you must feed the algorithm. That's just
Yeah.
the end of the day. And if you are not feeding it, if you're not feeding it with consistency, it does not present you and number one, doesn't present you in the best light. And number two, and sometimes it doesn't present you at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why consistency, being present online, beats being perfect every time, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe you're not a social media manager, but you certainly can post once or twice a day. You're
Yeah.
in the building, right? The kid who just took their first walk, or the teacher who's celebrating her 10th year with you, right? I mean, it doesn't take that much to do it if you're, if you try. But
Yeah.
I again, some of us don't have time, and that's why we need people like you, Mark,
Yeah.
to come on
Well,
in.
and just to thank you. And just to clarify, you don't have to be perfect. You
Yeah.
just have to be consistent, right? And that's the big thing that I think people overthink it. Like, oh my gosh, my room is not the right way, or the photo's not. No, number one, in the world that we're living in the AI world that we're living in now, people do enjoy to see humans sometimes, right? They
Yeah.
they want to see it. They want to see a human post. They want to see some interaction that are happening, or you can just post your schedule. You don't have to overthink it. You just want to be consistent.
Yeah. I find too that many of us are posting in 2 different places. And I don't mean so I mean, like, a lot of us have a parenting app where we're really
Mm-hmm.
catering to and marketing what's going on to our current customers, but then our social media stuff is more like community based or our prospective customers. It's kind
Yeah.
of like I feel like we have like these two worlds that we have to consistently market in, right? Like, hey, here's what your kid is learning today. Here's the picture. Here's the observation. Here's the reminder for school photos tomorrow. And then we're doing something different on our social media. Is that good or bad or what?
It's the world that we live in.
Okay.
In order to post now, it's work.
Yeah.
It is not something that you can just sit there and just do in passing. You're right. If you have a management platform, your current parents are looking for that communication when you did your feedings, et cetera, et cetera. But then you still have the world out there that has no idea what's going on inside of your center. So
Yeah.
the good thing is that you could probably leverage some of that, probably not everything, but you can leverage some of the things that you're sharing with the parents and repurpose it for
Mm,
social media. So maybe you don't have to do it twice,
yeah.
but we are in that world that you have to we're dealing with the digital transformation. We may already be there now, where
Yeah.
everything you do have to be digital. You're communicating with the parents digitally, but now you have to also do and work online digitally as well.
Yeah, 100%. You're right there.
Yeah.
So, if a center owner could only focus on one marketing move this year with 2026 around the corner, what should it be?
If you can do one thing, I started with this and I'm going to end with it. And I said, put yourself in the shoes of the parent. So if you have one move that you're going to make, go and audit your presence like you are a parent. So in other words, you're going to go onto your website and you're going to navigate your website like you're a parent. If you are going to go on your Facebook, you're going to navigate your Facebook like you are a parent. So if you have one marketing move this season that you're going to make, is treat your website the same way your parents would want to interact with your website. So go to your website and go to your social media presence just like you're a parent looking for care.
It's good advice. All right. As we wrap up, let me ask you one more question. What's the real cost of staying invisible in today's enrollment climate?
So we're hearing murmurings all the time, right? In terms of what's happening in the state of childcare. And I'm always listening and trying to hear why someone's having difficulties with enrollment. And I've been telling people that you cannot afford not to manage your social media. We just cannot afford to do that. Our margins are too slim, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
to just say, I'm not going to do anything online. I'm not going to do anything on my website. We cannot afford to say that because of the fact that said it earlier today. There's so much noise. There's so much going on. So right now, it's not the loudest person that gets the enrollments. It's the most consistent person.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think when we do our boosted posts, I'm gonna make a joke right now. When we do our boosted posts for infant care, maybe we should like put it at 1 o'clock in the morning when all the infant parents are wide awake
Mm. Mhm. Exactly.
and no one else is marketing at that time.
Yeah. Correct. And like I said, you don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to move with every trend
Yeah.
because that's gonna overwhelm you, and that's not sustainable as a childcare owner. It's not sustainable as a business. What you need to look at is how can I be consistently
Mm.
showing up for my parents?
Yeah. There's there's one person, I'm not gonna say her name, but there's one person who's got the social media game on lock in childcare. And you know it, and I know it, and my friend, that lady kills her social media. So all right, guys. So if you are ready to stop hoping that families find you and start showing up where they're already looking and they're ready for you, join Mark at the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference May 7th, 8th, and 9th. He's speaking on day one, which is our ownership focused day, strategies to help centers build visibility and trust in enrollment. You don't want to miss the session. Save your seat, take control, and get those kids enrolled. So thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Mark, as always, for being an awesome guest. And we'll see you in May.
Thank you for having me.